Hash 4 missteps in muscle building training. 90% of people still falling into these traps. Building muscle can be a complex process, and many people fall into common pitfalls that hinder their progress. Here are 4 common mistakes that most people continue to make in their muscle building journey. 1. Chasing the pump. Many believe that the temporary increase in muscle size during a workout, known as the pump, can stretch the fascia and create more room for muscle growth. This belief has led to workout programs like Hani Rambad's FST7, which focuses on high sets and short rest periods to maximize the pump. Even high-level bodybuilders have used such training. However, a 2023 study debunked this notion. 2 groups with high training volumes and 45-second rest intervals showed minimal muscle growth, and some participants even experienced slight muscle shrinkage. This could be due to excessive training volume causing muscle fiber damage, diverting protein synthesis towards repair rather than growth. High-volume training increases the release of catabolic hormones. Additionally, multiple studies have shown that there is no strong correlation between the pump and hypertrophy. Techniques like super high reps and drop sets may produce a great pump but offer similar muscle growth results to regular sets. Continuous tension techniques also produce a strong pump, but most research finds their gains similar to traditional exercises. Thus, chasing the pump should not be your primary training goal. 2. Lowering weight and increasing time under tension. Beginners are often advised to perform exercises slowly to safely and effectively engage the target muscles. Some people take this to the extreme. For example, trainer Mike Menser advocates a slow tempo of 4 seconds concentric and 4 seconds eccentric. However, recent research shows that no matter what tempo you use, similar hypertrophy results occur. Another study found that whether using high reps or low reps, as long as training approaches failure, the results are the same. While these studies used 1-2 second tempos, prolonged time under tension, TUT, with light weights offers similar benefits. Mechanical tension is a proven key factor in muscle growth, but the duration of tension is not synonymous with mechanical tension. Only when exercises approach failure, forcing the body to recruit all types of muscle fibers, do these fibers trigger events leading to growth. Both low and high reps can induce significant tension when near failure. Therefore, there's no need to extend or meet a specific T threshold. If you prefer slow, light weights, it's not harmful, but don't let it divert you from your main goal. 3. Shortening rest periods. In the 1990s, it was found that shortening rest periods temporarily increased anabolic hormones like growth hormone. Since then, bodybuilders have reduced their rest times. However, recent studies suggest that resting 2.5 to 3 minutes between sets can produce greater muscle gains than shorter rest periods. Temporary increases in growth hormone are not linked to long-term muscle growth. Longer rest periods effectively reduce muscle fatigue, enhancing the ability to generate tension in subsequent sets. If you prefer shorter rest periods, you can compensate by performing more sets. For example, a study found that resting 1 minute between sets and doing 4 to 5 sets of leg exercises produced similar gains to 3 sets with 3-minute rests. 4. Pursuing muscle soreness. Weightlifting causes micro tears in muscle cells, which the body repairs and enlarges. This is often cited as a key reason for muscle growth. Many people think muscle damage is essential, and delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, signifies growth. However, researchers have found that high damage and low damage training programs produce similar hypertrophy. Over time, your body adapts and reduces visible damage, but muscle growth continues significantly. Although some believe damage leads to growth, there are strong opposing views. A study with 26 trained participants split them into 2 groups. One followed a consistent training program for 8 weeks, while the other varied training variables each session. Both groups had similar gains. Another study had similar results with a fixed versus varied training program over 8 weeks, with the fixed group sometimes showing more growth. As you adapt to a training mode, post-workout soreness decreases, but muscle growth does not. Familiar exercises gradually increase load. Constantly changing exercises or techniques to chase soreness can hinder progress as muscles focus on adapting to new stimuli rather than increasing load capacity. Such variations don't improve gains. Conclusion. For muscle growth, the key is to train hard and close to failure. Current research suggests this is the only effective method. Avoiding these 4 common pitfalls can help you maximize your muscle building efforts. How creatine enhances muscle strength, endurance, and hypertrophy. In this video, we will explain the science behind creatine, how it enhances muscle strength and endurance, and how it leads to muscle hypertrophy. What is creatine? Creatine is a naturally occurring compound produced by our bodies and can also be obtained from foods like meat and fish. Once ingested, creatine converts into phosphocreatine, a high-energy molecule stored in muscles. This molecule acts as an energy reserve that can be rapidly mobilized during intense activities like weightlifting or sprinting. Understanding muscle energy usage. To understand how creatine works, we need to simplify how muscles use energy. The primary molecule used for energy in muscles is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. ATP is often referred to as the energy currency of the cell, as it powers muscle activities. ATP consists of 3 parts: a central ribose, adenine on one side, and 3 phosphate groups on the other side. The energy in ATP is stored in the bonds between these phosphate groups, particularly the third one. When a cell needs energy, ATP loses its third phosphate group through hydrolysis, releasing a large amount of energy and transforming into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. Think of ATP as a fully charged battery with 3 phosphate groups. When one phosphate group is removed, it becomes ADP, representing a depleted battery. ADP can be recharged back to ATP by adding the missing phosphate group. 3 main mechanisms of ATP production. 1. Oxidative phosphorylation, aerobic, occurs in the mitochondria, the energy factories of cells, the most efficient ATP production pathway. 2. Anaerobic glycolysis, breaks down glucose into lactic acid or other metabolites without oxygen, produces a small amount of ATP. Phosphocreatine system. Phosphocreatine, stored in muscles, acts as a quick energy reserve for ATP regeneration. When ATP is depleted during high-intensity activities, phosphocreatine donates its phosphate group to ADP, rapidly replenishing ATP. How creatine improves performance. The phosphocreatine system can quickly supply energy, unlike the slower oxidative phosphorylation and anaerobic glycolysis methods, making it efficient for high-intensity activities. Increasing muscle creatine stores means we can sustain high-intensity exercise longer before fatigue sets in. By supplementing with creatine, you enhance the ATP reserves in muscle cells, improving performance in short-burst, high-energy activities. Creatine and muscle hypertrophy. Creatine promotes muscle growth through 3 main mechanisms. 1. Enhanced ATP levels. Increased ATP availability not only fuels muscle contractions, but also supports new protein synthesis, which requires significant energy. 2. Cell hydration. Creatine draws water into muscle cells, enhancing cell hydration. Well-hydrated cells provide an optimal environment for protein synthesis by supporting enzyme activity necessary for this process. Water also helps transport nutrients like amino acids into cells, essential for building new proteins. 3. Increased anabolic hormone levels. Creatine supplementation has been linked to increased release of anabolic hormones like growth hormone and insulin like growth factor 1, IGF-1, which are involved in cell and protein synthesis. However, the exact mechanisms remain unclear and require more research. Individual variations. The effectiveness of creatine can be influenced by individual differences, training status, and other factors. Therefore, it's recommended to use creatine supplements under guidance. Conclusion. Creatine helps by enhancing ATP reserves in muscle cells, improving short-term energy burst performance. It promotes muscle growth by increasing ATP levels, enhancing cell hydration, and potentially boosting anabolic hormone release. If you have any questions or want to know more, feel free to leave a comment.